everybody, and welcome to the Super Sports Collection Show. And my name is Bruce, and I'm here with my partner, Alex. And we hope to be able to bring you a show that offers a great deal of information about something very near and dear to me, because I've been collecting cards since 1960. When I was a kid, I went down to the corner drugstore, the corner candy store really is what it was then. And I bought Mad magazines, I bought Supermans, I bought Batmans, comic books, I bought baseball cards, football cards. I don't think I bought basketball cards back then. So maybe some ice hockey cards. And, some people, when they go off to college, their mom throws that stuff out, gives it away. My mom didn't. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate that for not throwing my cards away. And so I don't have the greatest and biggest collection in the world, but I have a nice collection that started in 1960. And obviously, not everybody has cards from the 60s. And I have a lot of them. I don't have millions of them. I don't have tens of thousands of them, but I have a lot of them, and I'm proud of the collection that I have. And I always wondered, what can I do with these cards? I don't want to let them go. My daughter doesn't want them. I'm not giving them away. What am I going to do with these cards? And then I met Alex. So I'm going to let Alex talk about himself and his interest in card collecting. So Alex, welcome to the show. I'm glad that we met. I want to thank the good folks down at the sports card shop in Abacoa, downtown Jupiter, for putting us together. And Alex, again, welcome to the show. Tell me a little bit about your knowledge and interest in sports card collecting.
Hey, Bruce, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited about this opportunity that we have to speak about sports cards and our collections and everything. So a little bit about me as a kid. I remember going into the local sports card shop, tiny little place. I believe it was like a first pack I ever picked up was a Fleer baseball pack. Now, keep in mind, for me, I really only am baseball. I only really ever collect baseball cards. So as far as I can remember, that's all I've ever had. So I've always collected since I was maybe about 8 years old, maybe a little bit younger. And once I got to school, thankfully, my mom did not throw away my collection either. So coming back from school in 2020, I kind of got to revisit a lot of those old cards that I collected. Now, at the time, I was collecting a lot more of what you would call modern cards. So cards of players from that particular year, from the early 2000s and 2010s. And one day I got a message from one of my friends asking if anybody had had a bunch of cards from the 1950s through the 1970s. Now, that kind of rung a bell to me because a year or two prior, I was actually given a couple boxes, and I went through those boxes and I picked out a lot of old cards I never knew anything about. So it sparked my interest, and ever since that day, I started collecting 1950s through the 1970s baseball cards.
So, Alex, one of the things that I noticed about you when we first met is that, and it really piqued my interest, is that you get your cards autographed. You don't just go to games, or you don't follow athletes around, do you? I don't think you do that. How do you get these autographs?
So a lot of times I send these into either private signings, but they have what they call TTM, or it's through the mail autographs. And that's how most of these cards get signed, because a lot of these players live across all over the country. So I mail them, the card in an envelope, with an envelope coming back to me and with a nice letter, and, ask them to sign my card, maybe enclose a fee if they request it. And, we just kind of sit back and hope that it comes back. I mean, I get them back 9 times out of 10, but you also have to know your signer, and you have to know who the player is as well.
And I've noticed that some of the cards that I had no value in, couldn't have cared less about. When I showed you these common cards, you got really excited. And I went, whoa, hey, I'm getting a little more excited about the cards I have here. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so after a while, it's kind of interesting. You might look at, let's just say, a 1965 card, and you might think of, let me think of a name off the top of my head. You might think of Chuck Estrada. That might be a little bit of a obscure. You might not know who he is. Some people might not. But when you send him his 1965 card, and you get it back and everything, and you're like, wow, Chuck Estrada, that former pitcher, sat my card in front of him and signed it. So it's almost like owning a piece of history. That's how I look at it. And I think that's what gives collecting these older cards, it makes it a lot more fun.
So is it more for that interest, that excitement to get autographs, or does it increase the value of the cards? And I'm sure with the bigger cards, if you can get them autographed, like I showed you my Nolan Ryan, Jerry Kuzman rookie cards, and we all know that's, if it's done right, they're worth thousands of dollars. And then you said, oh, I got Jerry Kuzman to sign, or you said you could. Does that increase the value for people that are thinking about doing this as a business or to make money on a part-time basis?
For sure. That's definitely, if you're looking at it from that perspective, yes. But you also don't want to try and take advantage of the player in that case. And the players know this, that, there's tendencies that some people may have, and whether they're in it for business or not. But it also depends on the collector. Some collectors don't like the signatures. Some collectors don't like having marks on the card. They might just like the card as is, almost like as if it was from their childhood. So yeah, it can increase the value. It definitely does, for sure, for bigger players. And there's also some common players that maybe you might have never really heard of, that maybe have played 1 or 2 years, but they're very tough signers. So for people that build sets of autograph cards, it's a lot more valuable to them than it would be to maybe someone who doesn't do that.
So without giving away the ultimate secrets, there's actually a place where you can find out, and again, don't give away the website right now.
Yeah.
There's a place where you can find out who signs and who doesn't.
Yeah, there's a website I use. It gives you, and there's actually a couple out there, but there's the one that I use. It gives you, the success rate of the player. It gives you the address, and everybody in the community can leave some notes, and they give you the years of the cards that this player was on, and it gives you, just like what teams they were on, and it gives you links to eBay and all the other, big sports card marketplaces, so that you can buy these cards. But it also gives you a chance to track every one of your sets. So it's almost like every single checklist from every sports set ever made is on this website. And so you can track everything there.
Meeting you, I became excited again. And because maybe there's some sense I could make of collecting these cards for over 60 years. And so you've encouraged me, and that's why we're doing this show, because I'm sure there's not a million guys out there like me, but I'm sure there's quite a bit of guys out there like me that started collecting in the 50s and the 60s and didn't know what to do with their cards. Not that we're going to have all the answers to that question, but I'd like to hear from anyone out there who has a bigger sports card collection that would like to maybe even come on the show, maybe talk about it, maybe show us some of their cards. Maybe they don't want the piles and piles and piles of common cards. What we're going to do, I'm going to get kids involved. I'm going to give them out to kids and see if we can get them collected. So if you've got all these common cards and you're wondering what to do with them, hey, I'm going to give you an email address right now: SuperSportsCollectionShow@gmail.com. I'll show it to you on the ticker so I didn't confuse you. And contact us. Let us know you've got cards. Maybe you don't want them anymore. And we'll showcase your cards and we'll recycle them. We'll get them to kids, and maybe we could sell some of them for you. That should be, we could do that, right? Wouldn't that be a fun idea to get people's cards out of the woodwork, get people's cards out of the closet that's been sitting there for 20, 30, 40 years, and maybe make something of them?
Yeah, kind of bring them back to life in a way.
Yeah, that sounds, I'm excited about that. So we'll give you the address again. And also, I also would like to hear from you. If you'd like to be subscribed to the show, you'd like to be on our mailing list. And if I do hear from you, I'm also going to be giving away, I've been collecting these common cards, and right now I'm up to about 250 common cards from each baseball team: Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, St. Louis, you name it. I have them, and I want to give them away if you contact us and tell us that you're watching the show and you want to us to send along to you some cards. There's rookie cards in there. There's all-stars in there. It's a great collection from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s. For your son, what a great gift. What a great Christmas gift that would be, to give someone in your family 200 or 300 cards from their favorite team, the Red Sox or Toronto, whatever it is, Baltimore, Philadelphia. I've got great, great cards that I want to give away, and that's going to be a lot of fun. The other thing one other thing I wanted to talk about with you, Alex, is the other day we got together and we went to a sports card show, and I've never been to one before. Tell me about that experience for you, and then I'm going to show some of the cards we got.
Yeah, for sure. So that was definitely, I've been to some bigger shows. I have yet to go to a national since collecting more vintage is still very new to me. But I've been to some bigger shows. This was relatively, it was on the smaller side, but it was quite interesting. It had a lot of different, you definitely had unique sellers. You know, they had baseball cards, you had Pokemon cards, you had, you know, basketball cards. You had everything ranging from, you know, like the vintage baseball, vintage basketball, vintage hockey, all the way up to the modern day 2023 products. So it was definitely a very, very fun show. There was something for everybody there. And we met a ton of great people. We met a ton of great people that had a lot of great high-end cards. We met a lot of people that were willing to, you know, talk to us eventually in the future, hopefully. I would say both of us at least picked up a lot of decent stuff for our collections. A lot of, you know, very, very vintage, I would say, for the most part. What would you say?
Oh, I'm going to show them some of the cards that we picked up. I mean, I was so surprised that we could literally find from one gentleman all these cards. Duffy Dyer, look at Yogi Berra when he was manager of the Mets. Wow. And the New York Met team. And then the pitchers, Gary Gentry and Cleon Jones, the outfielder, Bud Harrelson, and Jerry Kuzman, who I told you was on that card with Nolan Ryan and Tug McGraw. I mean, these are some great cards. And then there's more.
Al Leiter, Future Stars. I see a Nomar Garcia Parra.
Okay,
that's what I see on my end.
We'll go with we'll go with that one. Let's see. So I want to see what you're seeing. Nomar. Hey, that's a rookie card for Nomar. How's that? That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, Red Sox legend.
Yeah, I mean, Red Sox fans would love to have that. And you got the and Al Leiter rookie card, and Cal Edred rookie card. I believe that's the Ramon Martinez rookie card, Mo Vaughn rookie card. One of the things that got me really excited was that some of the guys had minor league player cards. Sixto Sanchez, you've got Trevor Rogers, Max Mayer, who's supposed to be an incredible pitcher on his way up. You got my buddy Jorge Guzman in the middle there. He left the Marlins and went over to the San Francisco Giants. And another Trevor Rogers. By the way, one of the kids that I teach at school knows him and spends time with his family while he's rehabbing his arm.
Wow.
So I'll have to get some autographs from him. Jose Devers, I took a picture with Jose and Jorge Guzman one day. Oh, Jorge signed his, that's his signature right there on the card.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah. Now all he has to do is come back from an injury and get famous, and we'll be all set. All right. So we put out a lot of information tonight. A lot of interesting stuff. I love the Red Sox Fenway in the background. Isn't that something? I love that.
Oh, yeah.
So on these shows, we're going to educate as best as we can. We're going to share information about cards. We're also going to interview different players. I know there's one great guy who's not a player that you would like to interview. Tell us about someone who you're connected with.
Okay, so back in high school, I played with one of my buddies. He is now in the Astros organization. He's their, I believe, number 7 prospect at the moment. Had a killer year this year. He's got definitely a very bright future ahead of him. I'm very excited to see when he makes that jump up to the big leagues.
And also you, one of the people that's involved with grading cards, and he does his own podcast about sporting cards. Maybe we'll be able to get him on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, he'd be definitely, for anybody that wants to check them out to get an idea, it's Chasing Cardboard TV on YouTube. Definitely check him out. He goes all over the country and checks out sports cards collections and buys them, and he educates you on them. And it's definitely worth the watch if you got like 20, 30 minutes.
I loved watching his show. He hooked me more than I was hooked before. The idea of being able to go into different towns and find collections and add and sell off and buy. How exciting is that? So we're going to do some great shows in the future. Show number 1 is in the can. I want to thank you, Alex, for partnering up with me to do this show. And I'm excited. I mean, I'm not looking to, make a million bucks doing this at all, but I'm excited. I might be able to do something interesting with my cards, get them autographed, get them graded. Who knows? Might be able to actually make a little bit of money. That would be super. So thanks again for being on the show, Alex, and for sharing your knowledge. And we'll see you again next time. We're going to try to do 1 or 2 shows a week. We'll see how we do. And thanks for joining us. Have a good day. Bye-bye, Alex, and bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it.